Well, hello there, my friends. I'm so glad that you can come to my YouTube page and go live. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm probably invited out to see the game, and I plan on going to a friend's house to watch it. I could stay here, but it's better. They're cooking, and I can eat. But I thought that I'd come on today because I got a call early this morning. As a matter of fact, I was still in bed and I hadn't done any reading or anything. And a friend of mine was exercising like he does every morning, taking care of his health, his body. And of course, the conversation went to theology. It always does. It always goes to theology, doesn't it? And when it goes to theology, it's about what I taught him and what I used to say, excuse me, in the classroom. I'm just putting a little bit light on the subject matter here because I do want this to be a personal kind of a thing. Um, because, well, you see what I'm going to talk about. As you know, I was 20, 30 years ago a Christian apologist on radio and had a set of disciples that followed me, guys that I taught theology from the inner city. I am a graduate of Talbot Theological Seminary with a master's degree in what did I get my master's in? I got it in urban church development, I guess you can call it. I'm pastoring a black church in the inner city in Los Angeles, and I didn't want to come across as some dummy. I have on my little couch here in my studio here, as you can see, books and everything laid out because I was watching a gentleman on the internet and he challenged me. And as he challenged me, I said, wait a minute, he's a graduate of the same graduate school that I went to. I said, I don't know this man. He's a little younger than I. I'll give you his YouTube page. What is it called? It's entitled um, Road Warrior. Okay. C Road Warrior Apologetics. The letter C and Road Warrior Apologetics. And you come up on his YouTube page, and I must tell you, it's a wonderful page. I like his works. I like the work that he's done. I like that he went far further than I've ever gone with the languages of Greek and Hebrew. That excited me also because I said, "Oh my, here's a black scholar that I could represent as my equal or above," and I'm loving it. And I went to his site and I saw that he was having a contentious, and I have to choose my words carefully because he listens to words just the way that I do. And I don't want to be trapped by his brilliance. And I thank God for his brilliance. I thank God for his education, for the astute time that he put in doing it. I don't know his name. I was trying to go through this. Let me see if I went to this community thing. Yeah, he said he calls himself the Christian Road Warrior, and he has numerous videos where he speaks with people, and he so reminds me of myself, and I'm enjoying him. I'm enjoying him. My friend uh Xerix asked me to check him out. I've been looking at it. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm usually sitting in front of my screen looking at how they're putting things together in Las Vegas to put on this wonderful feat of you know, football, which is my favorite competitive sport. And of course, I'm pulling for the 49ers because I'm a Californian, a Southern Californian, and I like Kansas City and the talent that they have, but I got to go home base. And I hope San Francisco punishes them. So I'm going to a man's house. I guess his screen is big enough, but I won't have any competition because I don't think anybody there, uh, they may know more about football than me. But let me go back to my subject matter. My subject matter was this gentleman knows more about the Greek language and the Hebrew language than I, because I have my lexicons, and if he ever looks at this, he'll know that and this is for the New Testament here. You need to have a lexicon when you transliterate scripture. I went to Talbot because Talbot was the preeminent graduate school that taught that. I want him to know that I have respect for him. I also saw on this particular video that he was showing that he has on his shelf the same library of Old Testament and New Testament exegesis that I have in my library. I have the books. I used to have them here in my library. And if he goes to my old work on the YouTube page, he'll see that I know what it says in the original language also. That's why I got this, because I'm not a scholar in the Greek or the Hebrew. But when you look at the people that co-signed on the definition, and this is just the Old Testament Bible study, and when you look at the credentials that these people have behind their names and what it says in the preferences, and it shows you how to exegete the text uh, in the Greek and stuff, hey, I'm for that. I'm not one of these uh, people like Fred Price. God woke me up and told me one morning what he was saying in the Greek and Hebrew in the original language. And in this man's video that I was looking at, which is called, and let me go back to it because I don't want to misrepresent him. It was a video that I was watching by him called The Former Pastor Slapped Down Part 2, Going Psycho, Getting Lost in the Woods. I think this is the one that I just watched. If it wasn't part 2, it was part 1. And I'm telling you, I thought that I was doing great apologetics over the radio. This gentleman does expert apologetics and backs it up with the language. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Well, John, if he ever looks at you here, he's going to hear you say that you are a gay pastor. I was a gay pastor when I was doing my work. I was a gay pastor when I went to Talbot Theological Seminary at Biola University. I was a gay pastor there. It just wasn't spoken. I didn't speak it. Why would I speak? Why would I get in controversy with somebody when it has nothing to do with what my life is all about? That's why I thought about doing this before the Super Bowl. Why would I choose a fight with someone without an end game reasoning? I didn't come out publicly and tell the world that I was gay until after I did retired from the pulpit because of physical heart things. I say, I got to be truthful with everything. Let me just lay everything on the line. I was a gay man that went to a very conservative theological institution, that if I had told them that I was a gay man while I went to that institution, they would not have accepted my enrollment. I wasn't on the DL because I wasn't practicing gay stuff with people. I've never practiced fornicative practices. I disagree with that, even as a gay man. I believe that if you're going to be intimate with someone, you don't get more intimate than a hug or a kiss, because if you get more intimate than that, it's deep, because you're sharing too much energy, and when that person picks up that energy from you, they're going to want that energy just for themselves from you, and that happens with everybody. So you see the way I do my Christian theology now. I use it within the perspective that it needs to be one. And let me say this too. If those of you watch, the Christian Road Warriors channel. He not only uses Christian theology to back it up in a linguistical sense, but he also uses not one of the books that I use, but because I taught philosophy in junior college, and that's my logic text. And this is just one copy I have in my library. Here, I'll show them to you. I have three copies. Wait a minute. Three copies of the same text. Now, you may say, why do you have three copies of the same text, PJ, Pastor John? Well, I just put that over there. I'll tell you, because the first original copy, I use it so much to teach my students logic. The books are torn up. I study. I'm a teacher. And what the Christian Road Warrior is saying is absolutely true when it comes to defining the Bible. And I would challenge all of my friends that knows individuals like him, don't mess with him, because God has given him the same spirit that he gave me. I didn't come out and tell you that I was a gay theologue because you wouldn't believe it. You said, oh, well, you were conservative. I was not conservative. I taught what God told me to teach. And he did not tell me ever to get into these back and forth debates, especially with another brother from my same tribe, because the Christian Road Warrior is from my tribe. He thinks, he's an intellectual. He knows what he's talking about. And people that have studied a classical world religion, I taught world religions in college, so I know what I'm talking. Wait a minute. See, you don't believe me. Let me put my logic books down. And man, and I got to have it with an open text right in front of me, because I tell people I still believe in that, even though I'm not pastoring a church and it's Sunday morning. You go to my YouTube page, you can see my sermons. You may disagree with them, go ahead. Those sermons were exegeted right out of the book with the language that this book was written in, because it was not written for English people in America to decipher these words. And these people have done this, and they've taken you down the Fruit Loop Trail. This is not an image of Jesus that I wear around my neck. I got to get closer. You can see, you see the faces. Hey, I try to be the black sage from my brothers. I bought this from a black man that makes this jewelry. And I said, I'll buy that. And I paid a good penny for this chain and that little emblem of a black man sharing with his brothers. Now, here's my contention, and this is why I made this particular thing, Cass. Uh, we as brothers are not, we should be on the same team. We need to get on the same team and stop this. Now, I'm not gonna get on no special diatribe and try to entertain you about what's happening in world politics, but they have been trying to separate us from for years. They tried to separate us because they know that when we get together with all the knowledge that we have, and both of the players in this argument, Christian Road Warrior and a book, chapter, verse, BCV, Seiko Woods, whom I know personally, whom I love, whom I commend as an African American Christian apologist, because he too is a thinker, but we ought not clash with each other when we are thinking like that. I too saw the interview with Fred Price Jr. that Seiko Woods did. I saw a lot of things that I disagreed with. I saw a hell of a lot of things that I would never say to Fred Price Jr. the way that Seiko did, but I'm of an older generation. I just made 80 years old this weekend. So I'm 80, and I can still think logically and clearly about this Bible. In this clip that I was watching about the Christian Road Warrior, he put up a bite from a so-called, because I don't know about this Islamic teacher that misquoted in the beginning God. He misquoted it. So what did I do? I looked up the verse in my commentary, the same books that the Christian Road Warrior has in the background on his page, and I looked it up in the Greek, and the Christian Road Warrior was correct, and the Muslim theologue was incorrect, because each religion has to push what they believe. That's what men do. Each faith pushes their faith. If you're Catholic, you're going to go to a Catholic theologue. If you're Islamic, you're going to go to an Islamic theologue. I am a theologue, but I cater to no one side, because when I taught, wait a minute, hold it, I have on shorts. I'm cool. I'm in my office. I can stand up doing it if I want to. If you don't like me standing up, and if this offends you, cut me off. But I'm trying to show you something. See, I taught from this book when I was a professor in college. I'm not playing with you. I know what I believe and why I believe it. And I know what all the other world religions teach about it, because I taught this while in college. There are still a few students of mine that come to my YouTube page or to my website, which I'm thinking about shutting down. johnnycoleman.org. You can go there. I'm thinking about shutting it down because I don't think it's pertinent for today's population. There's too much free speech on the internet. And so, if I would look at the Christian Road Warriors page, I would ask one question. Just like if I looked at Seiko Woods' page. What is your end game? What are you attempting to do? I don't get it. Why all of this arguing back and forth with each other? Where is the love? I think I mentioned that to Seiko, and I'll throw in another friend of mine, Dr. Harley Howard. Where's the love? And don't tell me you don't love me because you found out that I was gay, because I came out. Because if you can't love me and I'm gay, you are not going to the so-called Christian heaven that you espouse and that you think you're going to. I don't know where your mind is going to take you when you close your eyes and die. But I'm 80 years old, and I will never deny who I am, what I am, and why I am. I don't argue with people about the identity that I have with God, because the identity that I have with God is mine. You have to have yours. Now, I'll give you a hint on how you can stop this verbal war that's going across back and forth. First of all, Christian Road Warrior, I humbly respect you because you do know what you're talking about. And you caught my young friend Seiko at an inappropriate time, because he is hot and bothered about what the MacArthur camp has done and said, and he went on a tangent. I tried to warn him then, but the boy's young. I have this to say, and I challenge any of you to challenge me. And please don't challenge me with about being gay with that open Bible, because I know when this Bible was written, I know the books that were copied from other ancient texts, esoteric texts, and put them there. I have read, where's my book at? I was just showing it to somebody. I must have left it in a strange, oh, here it is. I was reading Eusebius, for those of you that know a little bit about theology, and they have an excellent discourse in here about the great Roman not theologian, but Christian that died, Polycarp, about his death and about how he died and what happened when they had him at the burning embers. I've read Christian history. I know what sin is. Sin is the lack of conformity. Check this out. Sin is the lack of conformity, as Origen would put it, to the divine will of God, and the refusal of the creature to be related to his creator by faith. Now, I wouldn't argue that with anybody. because some Baptists would say the sin is missing the mark. Oh, sin is more than missing the mark. It's not sin for a man to kiss a man if he loves that man. What's the matter with you? It's not sin if a woman kisses a woman because she loves. Who made up that rule? Who made that up? They've been doing that for centuries before Judaism and Christianity even came on the scene. I don't understand. I mean, if you're going to teach, wait a minute, let me put my books back in here, and I hope that I don't make a logical error because I don't want the Christian road runner to watch this and come back and say, oh, you've been challenged by PJ. I'm not challenging him. I don't want to debate him. I don't debate anybody. I had a friend of mine that became an atheist because of what Grace to You Ministries did to him personally. I'm not going to drop my idea of God because of what a bunch of bigots did. Excuse my chair if it's all messed up. I like to look together, but I'm never together when I come on live. I just come on and work with spontaneity. I'm working myself up to go to this ball game in Las Vegas, and it should be a world-class event. But let me go back to my subject matter. It's ridiculous for you men to keep fussing with each other. You're fussing and fighting over stuff that is not that important. You're fussing and fighting when you should be loving one another, especially as African American men. There needs to be more love. Why did I get out of the ministry completely? Because I have never found people loving on the level that I love. When I say that I love people, I love them. Does the Christian road warrior love Seiko Woods and vice versa enough to put down the gauntlet and say, my brother, I love to be in your presence and to look in your eyes and to see your heart and to see what makes it beat the way it does. Let me look deep down in it. And since we all have an affinity because we were taught in white institutions, in other words, institutions run by Anglo-Saxon Protestants, institutions which now are backing a country that is trying to annihilate a certain population of another country. And are we going to go along with that? Come on, be careful, brothers. Be careful. Be careful of who you're fighting. You may be fighting the wrong person. You need to conserve your energy and build that up in the melanin factor. Oh, yes, I mean that. Because I love to see brilliance. And when I look at the Christian road warrior, that belt with the titles on it means something. This man is disciplined. He's done the work. But how does he help our younger brother? You have to admonish them to be disciplined in a way that brings a pride to the tribe. Okay, not chaos to the community. Listen, I tell you, a dear friend of mine, for my birthday, let me show you this gift that he gave me. And I know that he loves me because he gave me this gift. And when I was at his house, he showed it to me. I said, that's a Maltese Falcon, isn't it? It's a beautiful piece, isn't it? A beautiful piece, a part of his cherished collection of nice pieces. Well, when I went to my birthday party the other night, there was a fancy sack there with my name on it. And when I looked into it, it was the famous, I call it, the Maltese Falcon. And I left a message on his phone. And I said, I love you so much for presenting this to me. It will be in my office as a lasting monument of our friendship and our love for one another. He's 65. I'm 80. I'm still loving. He didn't have to go to my church. He didn't have to listen to my theology. All that has not a damn thing to do with anything. None of it. And this is foolish that black men do. We're splitting up the power that God has given us as a people, foolishly arguing over these airways about stuff that should not even be mentioned between us. We need to buy a plane ticket and go to a room and put all of the minds together. Tavis Smiley is one of them. Carnell West is another one. I'm trying to think of Louis Gates. All right, there's another one. There's other powerful men that are running powerful black organizations. Come together, gay and straight, and put it on the line. Let's see if they televise that. But we spend too much time arguing with each other about petty little indifferences that means absolutely nothing. And it's usually arguments about people that have accomplished their goals and ripping off our monies and making us end up looking shamefaced about stuff that we ought to be embarrassed about. So if you can with me on this Super Bowl Sunday, try to figure out how you can slide on a pair of shorts and get ready to go by some friends' homes where you can have food and beverage and you can look into a brother's eyes indiscriminately and say, it is good being here with you. And that's not based upon whether he has education or not, because a Christian road warrior has a degree from an institution that I received my degree from. Wait a minute. I just thought about something else. You guys don't believe it. Where's that text at? I used to have it handy. Oh, I can't even find it now. And I don't know whether it's not in here. It's in the other office. But it's my book from the university, because I went to 2 universities. I got my bachelor's from Cal State University, Dominguez Hills in philosophy. And I received my master's from Biola University, Talbot Theological Seminary. At 80 years old, my mind is yet fresh, but I have to go to my commentaries from time to time because I've forgotten that. And you know what? I respect my brother. And you know why I respect him? Let me tell you why. And he'll know, because I see it, the Christian Road Warrior, because I see it on his shelf. He has the Old Testament and the New Testament. I know how much he paid for each book. And I was a struggling pastor because I never made a lot of money. It wasn't my attempt to get into the ministry to make money. Y'all get that? If your attempt on getting into the ministry is to make money, you out of your damn mind. Excuse my French, but I just speak my heart now. I don't try to appeal to the evangelicals that want me to look like I'm a properly educated white man. I am not. I'm a black man that was forced to try to find the truth for the people that I was going to try to lead to live as long as I've lived and to live. See, I don't have a tattoo on me. I don't have a mark on me. I don't have a bullet mark on me. I was faithful to one woman for 35 years until she left me in transitioning. And I'm faithful to the people that I love right now. And most of them are men. I've always loved men more than I love women. Why? Because they're more like my species. They're not like it. I've never wanted to be nothing but a man. I've never tried to be a smarter man than another man, and I would never talk about another man behind his back nor in front of his face. So when you see these wars amongst us going back and forth, all this arguing, let me tell you, at 80 plus years old, I don't do that. I will never engage in a debate with another brother trying to prove something about God of the esoteric nature and do anything like that. Let me listen. I am rereading this man's book again. I'm rereading it because I read it the first time. And I'm saying, wait a minute, this man was at Harvard Divinity School, the head of it, a black man, a gay man. And he wrote this book. And when he came out, I was hot on him like white on rice. I would come on the radio and talk about this book. He's died now, but having the opportunity to reread it and to readjust my mind, because out as a gay man, and I'm not trying to push any kind of debauchery or anything like that, because I'm not one of these people that believe, oh, well, if you do that, you can mess up our children. No, your children are messed up because they was raised by you. And you need to stop blaming that on people like me. I don't do crap like that. And wait a minute, I don't only read from him to keep my mind safe. I had the book right up here. I have these. I have the text. I have the text. I can take you through it. I can tell you what these great leaders espoused. I know how to do that. But why would I argue that with someone that doesn't believe me? Well, Martin Luther didn't believe in the book of James. Well, that's his bad. I love the book of James. And Martin Luther presented this to the German fathers. I'm not German. How come? Hey, it was the same German fathers along with Gerhard Kittel that met with the Nazis in World War II to come about with the final solution to kill every Jew on the planet. Everybody knows that. And when I discovered that, you know what I did to my entire Kittel commentary on every word in the New Testament? I poured molasses on it, put it in my trash can, and watched the city truck dump it. There are no texts in my library by Kittel. I will not have him around me. I detest hypocrisy. When I tried to reach Master's Seminary and all those other great white theological institutions, and to say, did you know that Gerhard Kittel was instrumental in putting together the annihilation of every Jew on the planet? And you know who was next on the list? I never got a response back from him. It was then that my mind began to open up. And I said, you know what? All this mess that they taught you, that was to get the $40,000 plus that you spent for a Master of Arts degree in their institution. Not that I wish to spend it elsewhere, but decades will open your mind up. And that's what we need to take place. We need our minds to open up, and so that we will know properly how to adjust our thinking processes when it comes to defending our standing in defense or opposition to something taught by a religion that started in Northern Africa by preferably our greatest theologues or black theologues. As a matter of fact, let me try to prove that to you. You know what? And I like the Christian Rule Warrior because he says, if you're not educated, there is a picture here, and I hope that I can remember that picture. Let me sit down so I can present it to you. It's a picture of St. Augustine, or if you will, St. Augustine. Let me try to find him here, and because there was a picture of him. There was a picture of him, and all right, okay, here we go. I should have had, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, here it is. Augustine of Hippo. Now, I'm going to show it to you. Look at this ancient picture of him. And let me try to do it this way. And so I can talk to you. That's a black man. That is a black man. That is not a European. That's from an ancient picture of, and this is in the book Great Leaders of the Christian church. And when you look at this book and study this book, it will give you the contents that were written by white men. But you can see all this. See, I read, I study, I underline, I do that. Now, what I also respect about the Christian road warrior, he writes. I don't write. I don't want to write a book. I don't want my name on anything written. I just want to come like a vapor, a cloud of smoke, and disappear. That's why I don't debate anybody to beat them down. I would debate someone. You know what? I've been accused of many things since I've been a pastor. Oh God, research me if you want to. They'll tell you what they accuse me of. I never had a person come forward to show themselves as a person that was involved in that with me, ever. I don't know, but you know where all those accusations came from? Staunch evangelicals that wanted to be me, but couldn't because their brain was too small. And I can say it now because I'm totally retired. I ain't trying to make no money. I'm not trying to be popular with people. I'm writing my last will and testament while I'm alive. Because you can go to this and say, "Ooh, John Coleman did this on this date." Darn straight, I did it on this date. Did it and very, very proud of it. Wait a minute. Just then, after a devastating week, President Biden's motorcade arrived at his Wilmington home at 6:01 p.m. for a weekend of rest from the White House, called a lid. Uh, his allies said that he has been instructed to attack social counsel Robert Her son. See, they got Biden up here mad, looking mad and angry. And I ain't thinking about these people in the games they playing. What? I didn't know what. And that's how stupid we look when you get involved in these charades. It's a charade. Oh, I'm getting a lot of messages on this Super Bowl Sunday. I'm happy about that. So, you see, make up your mind as to what you're doing and where you're going in your life. Don't waste your time and your mind arguing with people about something that doesn't mean anything. If you want to help people with the Bible, you can do that on social network. And it's great that we all have these degrees and these books and all that. But what's the point? The people following Seiko or the people following the Road Warrior? Or the people even following John Coleman? I hope you find me interesting and entertaining. As for me, I'm going to stop, put all the books back up, and I'm going to go and see when we're going to leave for the game and go San Francisco 49ers. Go 49ers.